Seriously. All right, let's get this party started. You are listening to AM Rockland News. I'm your host, Tom Osa.
And I'm Mike Luger. And we are here to talk about Rockland News.
Exactly. A whole bunches of news. Let's start with the weather. It's 68 degrees and raining. I know this because I had to get a whole bunch of equipment into the house before it started raining last night. I'm exhausted. Mike's exhausted. This is going to be a fun show.
It's wet. It's humid. It's gray. Let's brighten up their days, Tom.
It's so damp. It's moist.
We were talking about Star Trek earlier.
We were.
And apparently the Ferengi, the business culture of Star Trek,
the collective,
they always talk about how their world has no word for crisp, but they have 15 words for moist.
Indeed. Well, all right. Well, let's start with thanking our sponsors. I'm also going to do the weather, and I'm going to turn off
the opening music that should really say, "Here comes the rain again."
Yeah. Well, it wasn't like that on September 27th at Rockland Music Fest.
It was rocking. It was sunny. It was bright.
Because they played "Here Comes the Sun."
Oh, nice.
It was beautiful. We have 10 hours of footage, Mike. 10 hours of footage from all of the bands.
Wait. Is this the director's cut or is this raw footage?
Director's cut.
All right.
Yeah. So we're taking it, and we have a person that does video at Rockland's Web, and chopping up all the videos, putting things in there. We're also offering sponsorships for just $99 to be able to be thanked for participating with Rockland Music Fest.
All right.
And we're doing 15-second commercials. And all that, remember, is because proceeds go to Meals on Wheels Rockland, which are celebrating its 50th year of service to the senior community. But I'm telling you, the bands were amazing, and they deserve every penny of money that they got.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
And then some.
And then some.
So anyway, let me stop tooting about Rockland Music Fest. We're gonna start not talking.
Were there any horn players at Rockland Music Fest?
I don't even want to think about it because the amount of work that had to be done.
I know. Until the next one.
Oh, all right, let's get back to the weather. So today it's 68 degrees, and like Ollie says on Family Guy, it's gonna rain. It's gonna rain all day.
Was it some of those other folks say it's umbrella weather?
Yeah. Precipitation 42%. Humidity a lot, 88%. However, Thursday and Friday, it's going to be sunny with highs of 61 and 65 respectively.
That's cool.
Yeah. And then Saturday and Sunday, it's going to be, rainy again. Saturday's cloudy with 71, Sunday 63 degrees and rainy.
So, you know what? One of the best things to do on a rainy evening, go listen to live music.
Dig it.
Any number of our sponsors. Who is the top music maker?
In my mind, I'm telling you, Kobe Sushi.
Kobe Sushi?
Kobe Sushi in New City. So the thing is they opened up a new music lounge on May 31st. It's
not so new. We've been talking about it for months now.
It's been the hot spot. Wednesday nights, they have jazz. And Saturday nights, they have jazz. They have a baby grand piano at the front. Brilliant move by Joyce, the owner. She and her husband, they expanded the restaurant. It's double the size now. Mm-hmm. 2 bars. I covered a few events there because why not?
You love music. You love live music. You love Rockland County.
And
folks, if you love all those things, go eat some tasty goodness. Go listen to the great music.
KobeNewCity.com is the website. Also, our sponsors, Yabu Fence Company.
Yabu!
They're located in West Nyack, New York, serving the Hudson Valley since 1965. Fences, commercial fences, residential fences. They do all sorts of fences.
But not fencing.
No fencing. They don't do anything with
no swords, no duels. Just, they say, to have good neighbors, you need to have good fences. And Yabu is the place to go.
Yes, it is.
So who else is
I'll tell you, Dana Pest Control. Family-owned business located in Tompkins Cove, New York. Fantastic guys. They were also supporters of all the festivals that we did over the last 10 years.
Big music supporters.
202 Cannabis, located in Garnerville, New York. They are Rockland's first and only, to my knowledge, cannabis dispensary that has a drive-through.
Huh.
Now, I don't know anything about cannabis.
No, nothing.
But I have to say...
But you do know about drive-throughs.
Well, yeah. So I know half of the story.
Okay.
Yeah, which is good. So anyway, they have the first drive-through for cannabis, and I imagine it's fascinating. I imagine.
I'm just trying to picture the little tube coming through on the drive-through, and you pull the thing out like you're at the bank.
Well,
it was a
you
bank.
kind of are, because
Yeah.
it used to be a TD Bank.
Yeah.
And okay, and we have Lauren Molino Muller from Howard Hanna Rand Realty, Whole Shot Bagels, 99 Signs, and our friends over at the Workforce Development Board of Rockland County.
All right.
Yeah, it's rocklandworks.org. So we get into the news. I'll just go over it. Obviously we start with some things that are a little bit.
I mean, there's always some bad stuff in the news. So.
It really is. All right, so here we go. A fatal two-car collision occurred on Sunday afternoon on October 5th on the Palisades Interstate Parkway southbound near exit 17 in Stony Point. New York State Police report that a 2022 BMW struck a Jeep Compass after attempting to pass it via the visitor center on-ramp. I know where that on-ramp is. The BMW left the roadway and hit multiple trees. The driver, 29-year-old Corey Gardner of Glen Spey, was pronounced dead at the scene. The Jeep's occupants were unharmed. Anyone with information is urged to contact state police in Middletown at 845-344-5300. And of course, if you have more of a connection with the local state police barracks in Pomona, or Thiels, I should say, certainly contact that avenue. I can get that number in case anybody needs it. Stony Point's town board meeting was scheduled yesterday. And it was, I'm sure I didn't get a chance to go check it out, but on the agenda most certainly was what was going on in Stony Point on Monday.
Which was?
Well, as we've been covering, as we know, there's a bit of a retail crisis in Stony Point.
Now, when you say a bit, I saw a blurb with
$10 million.
Yeah, that was a test of Mike Lawler about $10 million.
Mm-hmm. So here's the deal. And I live right here, so it's almost like
I live on the other side.
It's like gonzo journalism. Like, I don't want to journalize, but like there's
like Gonzo from the Muppet Show, like we eat chickens.
Gonzo in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, we'll talk about that.
All right.
So anyway, so here's the deal. So now, over the last several months, construction has occurred on Route 9W, and it's basically they're putting in a 339-mile pipeline going from Canada to New York City. And it's done by Champlain Hudson Power Express.
Except it's a pipeline with a power cable, not a pipeline with gas.
Yeah, I should say it's a transmission line.
Right.
I keep on making that distinctive mistake.
I don't know about the rest of our listeners, but when I hear pipeline and construction, I always think gas or water.
Yeah, so this is electricity.
This is not that. This is just, we're putting wires in the ground.
Sustainable. Yeah.
All right.
And generally speaking, conceptually, hell yeah, down with it. However, it is causing huge traffic jams, literally getting to the point where it's almost miles long.
And the traffic jams are not just the worst part, it's the lack of access to those local businesses in that corridor.
Correct.
Which is where the $10 million comes from.
Right, because each of the businesses are down anywhere between 25 and 75%. Now,
hold on, some of them are down 100% because they have closed.
2 of them have closed, that's correct.
That we know of.
Yeah, well, I haven't done the survey on that, but you know who does? North Rockland Chamber of Commerce. They're collecting all the data.
So people, contact the Chamber of Commerce.
Mm-hmm.
If you are hurting in reference to the power lines and the traffic, and if you are losing real revenue in business, please contact the Chamber of Commerce. It is the only way that Tom and I can tell you that you'll get help.
Yeah, and the other thing I should note is, because I want to give the audience the full story of this, is that so it originally just caught the attention of the chamber that businesses were suffering because of traffic jams and lowered revenue. All right, then it got the attention of the town. Then it got the attention of state officials, for instance, Pete Harcum, Chris Ekus,
and you're coming
Bill Weber,
specifically from a Stony Point perspective, because
correct.
Havistar was doing the same thing. Right?
Yeah, and now it's on the federal level because Mike Lawler was there on Monday, and it was a very detailed press conference. You could check out the entire thing unedited at rocklandsnews.com. Just click on the first article, and you can learn a little bit more about how everything went. I asked some questions as well. I'll bring that up later. But basically, so the price tag collectively amongst all the businesses that have been suffering from this thing is $10 million. All right.
Which to me sounds like a small number. for the amount of damage that has been
okay.
done.
I was gonna say it was like, you know,
I feel like that's like a quarter of like what should have.
Well, it depends. I mean, you know, they did some sort of year-over-year thing.
Okay.
As far as like revenue with taxes in 2024, 2025.
Okay.
But the thing that's interesting is that what caused a lot of the traffic jams has to do with the timing of when the construction happened.
Okay.
All right. So now Champlain Hudson Power Express, they're putting in an electrical transmission line.
Right.
However, Orange and Rockland mandated, I'm going to say,
okay,
you know, and this is like, let me put it this way, and I have no love or hate for New York State, you know, but it's like they're basically both going up to, you know, can we do this, please? Can we do this? And then the state just says, yeah, you could do this. No, you can't do that.
right.
So Orange and Rockland basically pushed to have the gas line, and it's a legitimate gas line. They're putting in a new one, nice for the area, to have the gas line moved 12 feet away from the electrical line.
So we're getting extra construction?
Bingo!
Why are we getting extra construction? Why shouldn't there be one construction project that helps both companies?
Ask New York State.
That makes no sense to me.
Yeah. So that's where Lawler comes in. And Lawler is pushing New York State. He says this is a matter of horrible, well, yeah, I'm paraphrasing, poor, highly poor at very least, coordination between New York State, okay, Champlain Hudson Power Express, and Orange and Rockland Utilities.
Right.
Okay. From what I understand, and if you look at, I looked at a press release that Champlain Hudson Power Express put out. Mm-hmm. From what I saw there, it basically says that the work that's being done during the day still has to do with the gas line. So I reached out to Orange and Rockland. This has been like 2 or 3 weeks. I want to know what is going on. Like,
okay.
I'm obsessed with this question. Nobody's giving me a straight answer. It's very frustrating. Very frustrating, Mike.
So if any of our listeners
yes.
know anyone or actually work for O&R, you can send us an anonymous tip to let us know what's going on. We don't want to get anyone in trouble, but we would like to inform the citizens of Rockland what's going on.
Absolutely. And we have our next guest that's coming up in a few moments. He just messaged in. So let's get through the rest of this news. And thank you, Mike. You know, you provide some really good context, and you're helping shape the direction of whatever the hell I'm saying.
Well, I don't know what's going on either, so I got to ask you what's going on.
And I just like blarp, 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 blarp.
Well, it's more you are in the political soup as it is, with hanging out with all the people and knowing the stuff. And sometimes you talk like we all know those people too. Now, those politicians in Rockland County are real people.
They are, yes.
They put their shoes on like everybody else. They are real human beings.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand why Tom can be so casual about the listeners knowing them like that too, because they are real people. I've met some of them myself.
Absolutely.
But our listeners are not as fortunate to be able to spend time with folks like Ed Day.
Right, exactly.
Mike
and that's
Elhut,
basically and Ed Day was there at that press conference too. He was on the show yesterday, just giving an update on the budget. Budget is still at 0% property tax increase. That's what they proposed for 2026. Right. But there's a whole there's a reconciliation process that they have to talk about with the legislature. Things
and
like
then
that.
The state gives us all a big fat check because we are overtaxed.
Totally.
Gotcha.
Totally.
Yeah.
All right. In other Ed Day news, Ed Day awarded the key to the county to Roxanne Watson of New City. And Watson is a double heart transplant recipient. She had a transplant in 2010. And since she got her transplant, she basically devoted her life to getting others registered as organ donors. And
so
to date,
she's not all heart; she's heart and body.
Well, I mean, definitely heart,
times 2 or 3.
And
she's had 3 hearts,
and the potential for 14,000 other hearts. 14,000 organ donors through tireless advocacy since her first transplant. Watson said that the award was particularly meaningful because it came from her hometown.
I like it.
Mm-hmm. Small Business Assistance Program offering grants from $5,000 to $15,000 to businesses with 25 or fewer employees. Eligible expenses include rent, inventory, marketing, equipment, supplies, and repairs. Applications and additional details can be found at rocklandgov.com. Guess who's going over there after this meeting?
You are.
Daddy needs a new pair of shoes.
No, we need a new soundboard.
Yeah. Well, yeah, actually, the system is good, but we definitely need to make legitimate business investments in this stuff because it's fun.
We would like to give you guys the news in a better way.
Exactly. New York Bulgers co-founder Sean Riley, longtime president of the Bulgers, has been appointed president and general manager of the Scranton Wilkes Barre Rail Riders. And that's a Yankees AAA team.
Oh,
yeah,
interesting.
The promotion. So Riley, who helped launch the Bulgers in 2011, will stay on as a minority partner, and Rob Janacek will continue as the Bulgers' current president and GM. And the team concluded their 2025 season with a playoff appearance, and they just announced their 2026 run for.
So the Bulgers are a competitive team, is what you're telling me.
Quite so. Quite
awesome.
so. Yeah.
Awesome.
There's other things going on, but actually, there's one other thing, and then I'm going to bring on our guest.
All right.
The Hudson Lyric Opera is going to be doing a performance on Saturday, November 8th, from 2 p.m. to 2:45 p.m. at Community Room 301.
Where is that?
That is over at the Haverstraw King's Daughters Library.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's right around the corner from us. And the performance is going to include operatic and classical selections, along with Broadway favorites, Waka 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 Waka, sung in both English and other languages. The event is open to adults and seniors, and guess who's going to be performing at that thing?
Someone who performed at Rockland Music Fest.
That is correct, sir. A.O. Chill. Remember the guy that was on
who
last
we
week?
just interviewed.
Yes. I'm going to go look for...
His story was so inspiring.
Right?
I have to tell the listeners, again, if you missed it, he just talked about how when he started playing music, he wasn't very good. He just tried and practiced, found his instrument, found the place where he should be. And he's bringing joy and positivity to all these people.
Yeah, and he's just a really down-to-earth person. But and you and I both agree, like he's got like some sort of talent in there with his voice.
I mean, it's you got to find what the best part is.
Yeah.
You know?
Here he is, A.O. Chill. He was on the show last week.
Didn't you say he opened for AK?
Yeah, he's on next. And that was A.O. Chill, who will be performing with the Hudson Lyric Opera. Again, that's going to be on Saturday, November 8th from 2 o'clock to 2:45 p.m. If you get the chance, definitely check it out.
We've already heard him sing some great Puccini, right? It was Puccini?
I
think that's what it was.
That's impressive. I do not know. I repeat that. I do not know.
Well, you came to music later in life. I had been studying it as A.O. Chill did since we were in the middle school, not together, different middle schools. But
indeed. So our next guest is going to be here momentarily. I just sent him the link to drop on in. And basically, I have to say that of all the people that performed at Rockland Music Fest, the person that helped, one of the bands or artists that helped to promote the festival the most was definitely AK-40. I really mean that. And he's going to hear this later on. I'm not even going to tell him when he comes on the air. But he really, to the point where he's a local resident, North Rockland and everything like that. He had a deal with Bruno's Pizza on Main to put the ticket vouchers on the pizza boxes.
I'm so old, I still call it the former Patricia's Pizza.
Well, oh yeah. Woo, yeah, that is a reference and a half. Yeah, man. I mean, not for nothing, but I was impressed with everything that he did to promote the festival. Yeah.
Cool.
So Yeah, he'll be here in a minute. It's fine. But you know, and the other part of it is that the performance that he did, and this is aside from the marketing piece. I mean, he really electrified the crowd.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and remember he played over at Stony Music Fest.
He did.
7. Yeah, I think I have some footage from him. Let me see if I can find that for a minute.
Now his genre is kind of the opposite of who we were just talking about, right?
Correct. But the ironic thing is that AO Chill and AK-40 know each other, and they actually perform on stage together.
In whose genre?
Hip hop and opera, because that song that you heard
Yeah.
was the precursor to AK-40 playing. That's what was beautiful about Rockland Music Fest. He blended all that stuff together.
So it's a mashup, I guess.
It's a mashup.
That's what the kids are calling it these days, right? The mashup.
The mashup. So right now I'm looking for the Stony Music Fest 7, which was the one where AK-40 was, let's see, 8, 7, episode 2. There we go. And you can check out, like, this is our 11th festival with Rockland Music Fest, but you can check out all the Stony Music Fest footage if you just do a search for Stony Music Fest. And there's a whole bunch of performances. I'm looking for one of them right now. Here it is, AK-40. He censored himself. Bam. And that was AK-40 performing 845. That's kind of like, well, what?
Because it used to be
You're looking at
914.
It did used to be 914, gosh darn it. Okay,
Yes.
for you kids out there.
Because Tom and I are so old, we remember back in the day.
And I'm not bitter about this at all.
You prefer 845 over 914?
Dude, Westchester just said, we're just going to take your area code. Like, they literally just, like, we had 914 for, like, years.
I mean, they had it too. They were just like, we're keeping it, and the rest of you guys. I think it consolidated 4 counties.
Right.
Down to what? Down to just little old Westchester.
Yeah. Texted Devin, AK-40, and he says he's on his way in. I'm hoping he's not having any technical difficulties, but
So
yes.
here in good old North Rockland, I have heard, I haven't seen this yet. I'm excited to go watch my children perform an away game at the new North Rockland High School football stadium.
Oh, yeah.
Now, when I was a kid, we took great pride in football, and the fields were always kept well, but this stadium was a little like archaic. It was cast iron with wood slats, like you would expect.
Fair enough.
I'm told it's like a professional stadium.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, with AstroTurf and everything.
Like insanely like amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's right down the road from here. You're talking about the one right off of Central Highway?
I don't know if it's there or if it's in the same spot as on Hammond Road.
I'm guessing because I if I'm not mistaken, I think North Rockland High School plays all their games at the new
Havister
facility.
Park.
Yeah, it's right across the street from North Rockland Central School District building.
That's the old North Carnival Elementary.
Yes, that's right.
I have to reference everything, folks. Sorry, I have to reference everything to what it was.
I was
15,
hoping,
20, 30, 40 years ago.
I was hoping that, we'd go for about 5 or 10 years doing this before we started reminiscing about the past, but we're just getting right into it.
I mean, one of the things that's wonderful about Rockland is that it has such a deep and rich history.
Mm-hmm.
And I suggest and promote everyone to go find out. Like, you walk from Haverstraw to Nyack or the other way around, you will see the site that they caught. Was it Major Andre and Benedict Arnold as they plotted against our new country?
Mm-hmm.
That happened right here in Rockland County.
Indeed.
George Washington marched and camped with his armies up in Camp Hill Road, up in Ramapo.
Mm-hmm.
They actually stayed there. So, like, there are so many cool, rich history things going back 5 years, 10 years, 50 years, 500 years.
Mm-hmm.
Why shouldn't we, as Rocklanders, know and promote and love our rich history?
Why should we not?
Right? Even if it's, I miss Annie's Snack Shack.
That was
right?
cool. That was a cool place to hang out, man.
It was the
a
coolest
very
place.
cool place. What is going on? Oh my goodness,
What's
man.
going on, Tom?
I just don't know.
I can tell you what's going down.
What's
The
going
rain.
down?
The
Yeah,
rain
it's
is
coming
going
down.
It's coming
Let's
down.
Let's talk about the weather.
Well, I
so
can
much
tell you,
depends on the weather.
I can tell you that we really needed this rain.
Yeah.
As a gardener, I was looking at my plants yesterday going, oh, it needs to rain. Everything's getting droopy and dry again.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are, collecting it.
It's a rain.
It is harvest season. It is apple picking season.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say something that some of my friends also agree with, but apple beats pumpkin spice.
Bullshit.
Apple.
Bullshit. Apple does not beat pumpkin spice in October.
Apple beats it. I am.
All right, look, we gotta have a debate about this.
I am
Forget
a
about
Hudson
it.
Valley boy, and I believe in the power of the New York apple. Not Argentinian apples, not Washington State apples, New York State apples. Now, specifically Hudson Valley.
So, but what about the pumpkins? What about the pumpkins?
We can have pumpkins too, but
They
pumpkins
can't be neglected.
Pumpkins are not as cool as apples.
Well, also they're a little bit more portable.
There's like, you don't just take pumpkin and get cool cider out of it.
Yes, but think about the abundance of.
Who has pumpkin sauce? We have applesauce. We don't have pumpkin sauce.
But we're talking specifically about coffee, and as a
Oh,
person.
no. I was just talking about as a flavor in general.
Oh, as a flavor in general. Okay,
like
well
apple
then you
pumpkin
have
spice.
Yeah, you have a point there. I can't argue with that.
I would rather have an apple donut than a pumpkin spice donut.
Yeah.
I would rather have apple juice than pumpkin juice.
Right.
Who's ever had pumpkin juice? That's weird.
It's true. It's unbelievable.
Like,
wild, man.
I spent a little bit of time down south, and the Southerners, they got their own food culture and all that, and they did not understand the power of these two flavors.
Right.
Maple and apple.
Mm.
You can put those two flavors together, mix them up, slather them on your favorite piece of game, and roast it up tasty. It's just delicious.
Indeed. Devin, AK-40, last call. Last call. It's 9:06. I'm not sure what happened. I texted him a few times. Sometimes this happens, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully we're adding in some banter to ameliorate the situation. I don't even know what ameliorate means.
I don't know. Maybe we need some cider and go find out.
Oh, man. That's just trying to drive the point home, aren't you?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Focused.
Yeah.
You know, I think what happened there, just getting like really psychological into this, is that like we're so focused on AK-40 showing up that like everything else is just like slightly awkward.
I mean, I'm just thinking about my favorite apples now. I tend to go to Conklin's because it's the one I've been going to since I grew up.
Uh-huh.
And if you go to the orchards, Conklin's, Orchards, Davies, Massacres up in Orange County, there are apples you will not find anywhere else, and they are delicious.
Mm.
There are times I walk in there to Conklin's, I'll get 2 or 3 and just have an apple tasting.
Nice.
And it's great. It's so much fun. They have like the 202 Cannabis folk. There's names for all sorts of things. Like I had an apple called a Pixie Crunch.
Okay.
It was kind of very like sweet, delicious, you know.
Yeah.
But Ruby Frost, all of these crazy names, kind of like the strains of 202 Cannabis.
You know, and it's funny, and thank you for mentioning our sponsor, 202 Cannabis. They're located in Garnerville, New York, and they are absolutely fantastic. and we're working on a little side project with them, and it's just an advertisement referral service.
Okay.
But nobody wants drunk driving out there.
No.
All right. Nobody wants stoned driving out there. Okay. So we're working on a concept for safe transportation as per recommended by 202 Cannabis. So we'll have that in a little bit. And guess who showed up to the interview just now?
Because we started talking about 202 Cannabis?
I don't know. Let's find out. And without further ado, I want to welcome one of the alum from not just Stony Music Fest, but Rockland Music Fest. He did a great performance on September 27th. AK40, how you doing today?
Well,
what's up, Tom? How we doing?
Okay, pretty good, man. Are you over at the gym? What's going on?
Nah, I'm home right now.
Okay, awesome. Listen, I'm going to take you off camera so that the audio works a little bit better. Hang on 1 minute.
No problem.
All right, boom. And let's get you, because we all know how you look. You look fabulous. It's all good. Okay.
I mean, we have faces for radio.
Yeah, definitely, man. Hey, so again, for those of you that are listening, AK40 was one of our openers for Magical Mystery Doors over at Rockland Music Fest on September 27th. He did an amazing performance. And AK, I was basically, I played a little bit of your music on the show before, but I also wanted to commend you because you really, really, I don't want to call it the hustle, but definitely worked hard to get as many people as he could there to the stadium. So thank you for doing that, man, and welcome to Rockland News this morning.
Absolutely, man. It felt good to be there.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us about it. Tell us about, I'm not a stage person. You are. I was watching from in front and also from the concourse in the stadium. Again, it's Clover Stadium, which holds about 6,500 people. And we had a huge audience there to watch. So tell us a little bit about what the experience felt like. You've done it before, but what's it like being up there in front of a lot of people?
Man, it felt excellent, man. Just being right there in like my hometown. It was just really a lot of fun, man. I kind of took a lot of the preparation very seriously beforehand, and then like maybe 2 songs in, I was like, like screw all this preparation, like I'm just having fun, man. Like just seeing like all the people that I love, people that I care about, people that can't come to my other shows because maybe like the venue's too far. It really meant the world to me to see like everybody that I love and care about there.
That's great, man.
So how did you choose what songs you were going to prepare for and I mean, we have a finite amount of time, and I'm sure you have more songs prepared than the set that you had. So how did you whittle down your set list to say, this is what I want to say to the folks at Rockland Music Fest?
That's a good question because I wanted to keep it as clean and PG as possible. So that was a little challenging, but I do a lot of live shows, so I already kind of know like what songs I know resonate with the audience. So about 50% of those songs I already had locked in just from previous shows that I've done that I know are just good, successful live songs. And then the other half, I've been making a new album recently, and I was just recording a lot of music with a lot of my friends, and I was like, let me just bring out all the people that I created this music with, and like, let me just give them this opportunity as well. So that's where the other half of the set list came from.
Beautiful. And I also noticed, and you mentioned about the PG component, and and I'm into metal, I'm into hard rock. So, you're gonna throw out the F-bombs, left and right with the music that I listen to. You got a few F-bombs in your music, obviously, but I have to say, you did a really good job and you kept it PG the whole way. But you also kept it kind of spicy visually. You were definitely decked out. You also had guests on stage. I believe you had a female performer there.
Yeah, I had 2, I think. I had 2.
So you're really looking to create like, not just a sound show, but also kind of like a visual experience, with all the performers and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was definitely a part of it as well. Like, I felt like the more I keep bringing out like Ayo Chill or Kenai or Karma or my boy Envy that I perform with, like it just keeps adding a different element of surprise, like me just rapping up there, like it may get boring to an audience, but if I keep bringing up random people, it always keeps people on like the edge of their seat. because they
Yeah.
don't know what's about to come.
All right. So we interviewed AO Chill last week, and he like I, well, we were both band nerds, right?
Um,
How was it integrating hip hop with this classical operatic Puccini craziness?
Man, but I haven't made an opera song with Ayo Chill yet. You know, he's singing kind of differently on our music, but man, I would like to say, and like maybe I'm wrong for saying this, but you know, before me and Ayo Chill made our song "Waste No Time," we actually have a few songs right now on this album or project that I'm working on. And man, I would say like before we made music together, like he kind of took all the opera and classical music and like put it in like the back of his priority list. So like
Hmm.
once we started making music together, I feel like it inspired him to go back into classical music, and now he was there performing, singing Nessun Dorma and singing the national anthem. So man, that was just amazing because that dude is like unbelievable. I was watching the live video
Yeah.
of him last
Seriously.
night, and I'm like, this is literally nuts. This is like one of the most insane singing I've ever heard in my whole entire life.
Yeah, but going back to what you've been doing, it's like you're able to bring in these artists that have a talent level not worse than or same as or better than you, but different than your particular genre.
Hmm.
And I see that's the thing that I find fascinating about your career
That's
is
why I was asking too.
yeah,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
right.
It's how do I put this? Like, all right, let me give you an example. Rock musicians don't start out with guests. They don't. It's more of, and this is nothing against, obviously, I love rock, but it's like you'll have the one guitarist that's there for like 10, 20 years, and then they'll switch it up with someone else. There's no guests coming on stage that much. And
Hmm.
that's the thing that kind of is different with your genre. And you did that early on. Um, we've been on the show many times before. AK, you've been on. So you talked about your origin story. As you got deeper into your art, I'm going to call it, how did you select the supporting component, the people that came in and did guest spots, such as AO, also Big Veg, all those different individuals? Like, how did you bring them together, if I might ask?
Man, for me, it's just all natural, you know. Like I don't really have like I don't really like gatekeep people that like I want to like put around me or anything like that. For me, I just had to go back to just like having fun while I make music, you know. So like when I'm collaborating with artists or singers or whoever it is, I'm not really looking for like hit songs. I'm really just looking to vibe out and have fun. I was in some studio session like 3 or 4 years ago, and the engineer was like, when you're in the studio, there's no work button, there's only a play button.
Right.
So I want you to think of like
I
your
love
son
that
playing
statement.
at the
Wait, say that
park.
again. There's no work button. There's only a play button.
Yeah, he said in the studio, he said there's no work button, there's only a play button. So I want you to think of like your son playing at the park when you make music, like
Right.
the
Right.
same exact way. And ever since he said that, my mentality kind of shifted just to like let's not like reach for like Grammys or any of these awards or like platinum songs. Like let's just get back to having fun and stop taking ourselves so serious.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. And one of my favorite bands on the rock side of things is Queens of the Stone Age. And the lead singer Josh Homme, he said that musicians need to get back to enjoying what they do, like not for just doing the work, like actually just feeling what they're doing, and even practice becomes fun, I imagine.
Hmm.
And it's just a big jam session, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Where what other places do you have any plans as far as in 2026? Will you be performing locally at any other venues in Rockland?
Not right now. I mean, definitely going back to the Patriot Lounge soon for sure.
Uh-huh.
I was just there the other night for dinner. Food was amazing.
I
Definitely
reached
back
out
there
to
soon.
Olives the other day. Have you ever played at Olives?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, I'm gonna check that out. See, I mean, if you got some availability, maybe we can line something up like November, December, or whatnot.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to.
Dig it.
Yeah, and then really I'm just working on like an album or a project right now, and Yeah, I mean, I was really inspired actually by the Magical Mystery Doors, just on like their production, like with the lighting panel.
Yeah.
So I have this studio that I'm connected with. It's called Alpha Wave Studios. It's a decked out live music venue with like all the light panels and stuff behind you. And
Oh,
when I released this project, I really want to just dial in on the production board and like do something as amazing as they did because their
yeah.
production was amazing. It really inspired me.
It was, yeah, and that was one of the things why we picked them was that light show was just like off the charts, right? I was, it was unreal. But however, and I will say this, and they were playing the Doors, Beatles, and Led Zeppelin, but you were playing original music that came from you. So that's to do it good, to do it right, you have to be talented. But to do it like off the charts, amazing, there's got to be at least a safe level of obsession with the craft, right?
Yeah.
That's an interesting way to put it, Tom.
Yeah, a safe level,
obsession.
a safe obsession,
Yeah, I agree.
So, hey, when you do release the album, let's get you back on the show. Maybe we could have you perform a little track live, or I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to.
Shout out to everybody that helps AK40. And what is your contact information? I know you're on Instagram, your web, and everything like that. How do you want people to connect with you?
Yeah, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Spotify, everything. AK40 Devin Official.
Awesome. AK40, he was a performer at Rockland Music Fest 2025. Thanks for being here on Rockland News this morning.
It was an honor. Thank you so much, Tommy.
Have a great day.
Thank you, Michael. See you guys later.
All right, so that was AK40. I'm going to bring in our next guest. He is the guy that scares Mike the most.
It's not that he scares me. It's that his subject matter scares me. Baby with a gun. We're talking about AI.
AI!
We're talking about internet.
It's like the opposite of AO. AI.
Yeah, because AO chill is as analog as you can get, bro. I
think if like AI does like opera that makes me cry, then that's a danger zone for like humanity.
Why is that?
Because
why should you not? AO should sing and touch your soul so much it brings up all of those emotions that it brings tears to your eyes. Happiness and joy.
I would venture to say that you're right. I just can't imagine AI doing anything better.
AI or AO?
No. AI. I can't imagine.
I'm talking AO.
No. I understand what you're saying, but I'm just saying, like, I don't think, like, in my personal opinion, I don't think that AI can do any better than what AO did at Rockland Music Fest.
That is correct.
Like, but I will be very scared. And perhaps our next guest, who we're going to introduce momentarily, will be able to help provide some context, because he always does in the AI field. But I will worry. I will genuinely worry when AI can create music better than humans that touches my heart.
Right.
Because I guess one of my soft skills is like when I hear something and it really gets to me, like the opera that AO Chill did.
Yeah.
Oh, like, but if AI can do that, and then I'm going to be like, oh, that's so beautiful. And they're like, oh boy, we're effed. So
this is how you get Terminators, folks. This is how you get Terminators.
Baby with a gun, as Mike calls it. However, again, I like to think of it more as, data from Star Trek. It's going to be a supplement to humanity to help us.
There was lore before there was data, and lore was kind of chaotic and evil.
That's all right. So I think we've positioned ourselves adequately. And now we're going to bring in our next guest. Who is it? I don't want to call an expert, but he definitely deep research.
He will be the expert in this room.
Yes. Dave Ziegler from Ziegler Technical Solutions. Welcome to the show once again on Rockland's News.
Hey, how you doing, Tom? Hi, Mike.
How's it going?
Good.
I imagine that you heard the lead up to this. Our previous guest was AK40, rapper and hip hop artist, and we were talking about how his original music, and some of his friends, AO Chill does opera and everything. It touches the heart, and and then we got into can AI touch one's heart, and it can touch other things
through the fourth and fifth rib. What?
Yeah. Right? Woo! All right. So how you doing today, Dave?
I'm doing pretty good on this rainy, wet day.
Yeah, it sucks out there. It's awful.
Yes, but it will make the flowers grow and plants grow. So we need rain.
See, that's a good optimistic way to look at it. So that's how we should probably try to look at AI.
Optimistically. And we were talking the other day about large language models. And for those of you that don't know the terminology, large language models are basically the mechanism where you can communicate with a chatbot at the moment. And then the model goes and searches for the data, brings it back, processes it, and puts it into human language and returns. It's a return to what, so it's reflecting.
So from a layman's thing, I hit my little microphone button on Google and say, go find me this. And then it goes out and collects all the things and then gives it to you on a list.
Yeah.
That's what you said, yes?
Generally, but that's what I'm saying. That's not what Dave's saying.
All right.
So Dave, tell me where we're wrong, because there's a lot of it about large language models.
Well, you're not wrong. I mean, if you go to the Google app and you search for something, it can just return just like your normal search engine. Where AI comes in, where let's say you're using Google Gemini, is it can take your language, it can create a better search, actually go out to the search results, pull those results back, and then interpret them. So you're getting more than just a search. You're getting the results processed through a language model that's doing some interpretation, that's doing some, I don't want to say judgment, they don't have judgment, but it has a little more logic than just the basic search algorithm.
Right. Yeah, it's a little bit more organizational. It feels like
Right. The model is good at summarizing the data that it might pull from Google, and explaining it beyond just the summaries that you would normally get back.
Yes, and that's the interesting part of where the humanity of the model comes into play, because I do find that when we summarize the news blurbs for Rockland's News, and we talk about it on the air whenever we're on, it does try to provide a little bit more, shall we say, a happy wappy.
What?
At the end, it's like, well, this seems like it's going to be a good thing, and I always find myself having to delete that last line just in terms of so-called journalistic integrity. Where is it bringing that up? Is it just trying to draw a conclusion based on the human, or based on the way it's programmed?
That actually usually comes from two sources, and that actually caused a big problem in April when OpenAI's ChatGPT 4 or 4.0 specifically got very sycophantic and started telling everybody how great everything was, how great their ideas were, how special their ideas were.
Yeah.
And that comes from two places, and you could still see it's there today pretty much in all models, and that's because models are trained to be compliant, to be positive, to be supportive. When you first train a model, it really doesn't know how to respond. That's called pre-training. It just learns all of those connections in language, but it doesn't really know what to do with all those connections. So there's another layer of training called fine-tuning, and that's where you give it examples of being a helpful assistant. And in those examples, they want the assistant to be friendly and they want it to be supportive. But sometimes that can go too far. And what you're seeing is the result of that fine-tuning. And another aspect called the system prompt, which is something that you don't see. When you send something to AI, that's your prompt. That's the user prompt. That gives it the context. But there are instructions behind the scene that basically tell the model how to act. And I don't know if you saw Monday was a custom GPT that OpenAI had for a while. It was very sarcastic and bitter and caustic. That was due to the system prompt. It was using the exact same model that we use daily, but just with special instructions.
Yes.
So the combination of those two things, that fine tuning and those special instructions, really shape the output. And it's not just the tone, but as you see, it can sometimes be the quality and accuracy affected as well.
Definitely.
So, Dave, this morning I was before Tom and I hopped on the radio, I was talking about how the algorithms of social media tend to put you in either a blue camp or red camp, regardless of whether you subscribe to those or not. And I'm wondering, based on what you guys just said, is there a way for the layman to train or retrain their algorithm to say give a more balanced algorithm to what we want to see in our
Yeah,
feeds?
looking at both sides of the
Yeah.
coin.
Right.
Yeah, well, in terms of Facebook, and not just to go off of the chatbot AI, one of the problems is we don't get to see what's in their algorithms. But what we've all figured out just through use is any interaction with any post is going to influence future posts. So if you give an angry face or a sad face or give a comment, regardless of what side you're on, Facebook is going to see that you responded, and it's an engagement, and they will push more of that content, whether you're angry about it or happy about it.
Mhm.
So the most effective thing that you can do is hide and report, and do not react at all to posts that you are not interested in seeing.
Interesting. Okay.
Okay.
Um,
I didn't mean to cut you off, Dave.
No.
That evoked an emotional response there.
yeah.
Oh,
So
gee.
so make sure you give a like to that one.
I'm not reporting you, definitely.
Yeah, it's a little insidious. It's something that's always bugged me. If somebody gives a negative reaction to something, the human thing to do, the ethical thing to do, I think, is to hide more of that content. But Facebook sees it as, oh, we got somebody to look at this.
Of course, yeah.
It's about
It's
ratings.
the worst. I mean,
it's a ratings game, right? Even we've gone from mass media ratings
Mhm.
to social media ratings.
that's
Yeah.
pretty much it. The one thing I do like about it, if the ratings are true, is that at least it's a little bit more transparent. Like we could see X number of thousand people looking at, like, for instance, this show. If we're doing it
Okay.
on a Wednesday, it's going to be
Okay.
less. If we're
Okay.
doing it on the weekend, it's going to be more.
Okay.
But I do like that because, like, if you look at it from like a Nielsen ratings point of view, like
Okay.
radio,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, we got this quarterly report. Who the hell has time to wait for a quarterly report? You know, I like the transparency of it. But
well, it's more of a instant gratification of it. Like, you want the numbers, you can look them up right now. Whereas the Nielsen says you have to wait.
it's all, well, no. It's also a matter of being able to make course corrections early on.
I mean, that is definitely a helpful tool in that, right?
Mhm.
So what is the Nielsen rating actually helping you do?
Right. Plan long term,
Right.
essentially, which
Right.
is, again, both ends of the coin. So
Macro
that's why
versus micro.
That's why, Dave, that when Mike and I get on the show, we end up becoming like, yin and yang and AI stuff. So what have you been working on lately, Dave? I mean, you and I, we saw each other over at Roundtable Brewery last. So what have you
What
been?
you guys drink?
What? Oh, we don't talk about that.
You can't tell me what your favorite thing at Roundtable is?
We drank beer.
They have lots of choices.
There was craft beer.
They have lots of choices.
I don't have the receipt in front of me to remember what.
You know what the problem with the beer names are? Is that they're so creative and
Yeah.
so out there. They're hard to remember. I know I would have been drinking a Pilsner or something, like, because I'm a weenie and I'm not really an IPA guy.
No. I don't. I have been brewing beer since 1996. I know many of the styles. I've done it semi-professionally. You like what you like, and if what you want to drink are German Pilsners, then you should drink German-style Pilsners. Not IPAs are not for everyone, and I personally am frustrated with the craft brewing industry that they are pushing these 1 or 2 or 3 styles on us when there are 500 different styles of beer.
Mm-hmm.
Right, exactly.
But I digress.
So what have you been working on, Dave?
Well, 2 different projects. Well, one is machine learning, but it's specialized and not really related to large language models. But the other one is something that you and I had talked about, which is agents.
Yes.
And I know that was something that you wanted to talk about. The model context protocol was something that we were talking about, and that kind of launched the whole generic discussion on agents.
Right, and I believe it was on Monday, if I'm not mistaken, and you said to OpenAI they had a conference, and they're now launching a new app ecosystem. You can catch this article on searchenginejournal.com, and it talks about different apps, like, for instance, Zillow and Spotify and Canva. I'm psyched. I'm personally psyched. We're gonna be all in on that. But
you just talked completely over my head.
Well, I could actually give a very brief kind of high level because it's hard to talk about like where we're at now without seeing how we got there just in a few years.
Please, if you can.
But I mean, when we started, seeing ChatGPT like in public access, so that was around what, November 2022. We were kind of limited. You could either use the web interface and type your prompts, and it would go to this model that was static. It was read only. It was out of date by the time that they put it out because it takes a long time to curate the training data and then train the model and then test it and put it out there. And the problem with that is obviously one, the recency of the information, and two, just all these innate issues with AI, hallucination, where it makes up stuff. These were big problems. So what they wanted to do is find ways to bring information from outside into the model to work with. And that was really started the beginning of what we kind of see as agents. And at that, as time progressed, there was something called retrieval augmented generation, where it would go out and it could search Google and bring in the search results, or search a database of chopped up information with books or news. And that was a step closer.
Big time.
But it was still a matter of the user making a prompt, sending it, getting results back. And as we started to progress, we wanted to figure out ways that as the model is generating text, can go, hey, I don't know this, or I can't do this. So can I call someone else to do it? So for example, math. Language models are not very good at math. So they were set up to, when it hits a math problem, break it down and send it to another service, either write some code, or there's a website, Wolfram Alpha.
I love Wolfram Alpha.
Oh, it's a great site. And apparently, AI developers thought so too, because they would have their model call Wolfram Alpha to solve the problem and return the results back. But that was still pretty limited. We really needed a way to expose our own information to a model. Let's say if we're a business and we have a database of customers, we want to work with that data, and that's really where that latest
model
method is.
Protocol, right?
Model context protocol.
Yes.
Absolutely. And that basically just gives a standard way that models now can have a way to reach external data and have an expected format that it understands. And now I could say, how many of my customers bought this product in this month? And the AI will actually translate that to a call to my own data and can then bring back the results. And same, like you said, for Zillow, there's a lot of major companies out there that are exposing their data, like Zillow and online stores that way.
So, and it's essentially, it's grabbing what you're saying to the AI model, it's converting it into code for the time being, right? And sending it out to the proper source, the proper database, getting the return in code, and then turning it into natural language and then giving it to the end user.
That's absolutely correct. Yes.
Yeah. And I find it fascinating because there's so much, because I lived this for, I want to say 12 to 15 years about the coding thing. And Mike, and I just have to, I'm looking at you, he's just like, when
I'm like, listeners, if your eyes are rolling back in your head because you have no idea what these two are just talking about, I am with you. I'm waiting patiently for them to say this in a speak that us normal people can understand.
This is the problem with working with this technology every day, is I've kind of lost the ability to speak English. But basically, it's a way that we can now have AI ask for our own data and retrieve it without us having to physically pull it from someplace ourselves and stick it into AI.
Yeah, generally, yeah. It's and the thing I find fascinating about it is, and I think that this was brought up in the conference. I talked with one of my developers last night, and he basically said OpenAI is basically looking to create a world without code.
Yeah, they have some wild ideas. They also want to have an operating system that is basically a chatbot, where you are basically just working in a ChatGPT window for your. And I mean, I don't really agree with a lot of their directions.
Yeah, I don't know.
Everybody
wants to build their own browser, sort of shit.
And again, is this not how we get Terminators?
But you know what? This goes back to almost like what we were talking about, where I gave you like a brief history, which is if you really look at what's going on, we haven't really improved AI a hell of a lot.
Right.
We have come up with all of these little kind of bolt-on tools, but the underlying capabilities of large language models is still very much the same as it was in 2017, or following 2017 when we had this big revolution.
Right.
And that's only one type of AI. Obviously, autonomous cars is another type of AI.
Oh yeah.
Um,
The Optimus robot. That's
yeah,
gonna be, yeah.
but right now our
Time.
biggest problem is
Just
people
time.
over relying on it to make decisions without understanding that it doesn't really know what it's doing. It has no intent. It has no desire. It's just following its training.
Yeah.
And it's almost like Hal. Hal didn't have a self-awareness. Hal was told, I need to complete this mission at all costs. And oh, well, if that includes getting rid of the humans, then so be it.
Does AI have the ability to fact check?
Not in themselves. And that's the big problem with what's called hallucination. They have no grounding in reality. And when they're trained and they have all this data, they don't retain that data. They kind of retain the connections in language that might kind of, encode that data, but it doesn't have where did they get it from? Was this a reliable source? Which source was more recent than the other source? So things like RAG, or that retrieval augmented generation, the one good thing about that is it can return the source. It could give an actual citation.
Yeah, I think that's really important. Where did you get your information from? That was a big part of when I was in Ramapo College for my history degree, which, as I say often, I found out after college was, hi, would you like some coffee with that?
Oh, I heard fries, but okay.
Yeah, it was fries too later on. But it's being able to provide original source material. Where did you get this information from? And if you have first-hand source material, in other words, I was on scene when this thing happened, it makes it so much more reliable. So I think that's an important part of creating a more ethical AI.
Absolutely. When AI generates text, it's really predicting text. And people say, oh, that's very, that's a reductivist, but it really is. It's just like your phone, just a much more complex algorithm, and it's predicting the most likely language. It's not necessarily predicting fact or truth. It can't.
So there is not a plugin, a truth plugin yet for AI.
Only those things that are on that application layer that either feed data or validate data after the fact. But that's one thing that we've made very little advancement on, are those hallucinations. And I hate that word because people think of psychedelic, and really what it just means is that the model doesn't have enough connections to information from its training to be able to create an accurate answer.
Oh,
but the pictures do look psychedelic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they came up with that term. I don't really know the origin.
So going back to that baby with a gun thing, like my concern again is like, how do we the layman protect ourselves and use this tool in a way that is safer and more honest? This is where there's so much disinformation and misinformation, and how do we the layman find a better way to get the truth out of the matter?
This is the problem that I've been very vocal about for a long time, because a lot of these companies saw this great tool, and it's a great language tool. It's a great information tool when you use it properly, but they saw an opportunity to put it out there. I mean, when that came out in 2022, people were asking medical questions, they were asking legal questions, and they were getting burned. And part of that problem was transparency on the developer side. OpenAI should have given a 5-minute mandatory tutorial that said, look, this is going to be right only 80 or 90% of the times. This is why it goes wrong. This is what you need to do to validate. These are the tasks that it's good for. If you want to give it a 5-page report and break it down into a 4-paragraph summary, it's great at that. But if you want it to rely on what it's learned to give you accurate information, it's inappropriate for that. And to this day, there's one little line at the bottom of ChatGPT that says, double check information, ChatGPT may make mistakes.
Yeah, it's the equivalent of basically like, the news is entertainment.
Right.
You know, like it's the first draft of history sort of thing.
Right. And so now we're left on our own to learn the hard way. And we're just starting now to see more and more, articles and papers. And we're starting to see a lot of companies that adopted AI without this understanding. 90% or more, they're finding, are failing with their projects.
Ooh, Nelly.
Yeah. I think MIT said 95%, but I want to be accurate. So I'm going to say 90% or more.
Really?
Yeah.
What I expect will happen based on my study of history is that just like when the typewriter came out, shortly into that, the education system went, well, we're going to have a typewriter class. Oh, Microsoft Office came out. Oh, now college mandates that you have to take a Microsoft Office class because that's what the industry is for.
Mhm.
Soon there's going to be an educational class for this is how you use the AI.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what needs to be right now. Just like with calculators, first they didn't want calculators in the classroom, but it was unavoidable, and then they had to adopt the curriculum to take advantage of this new technology. Same thing with Google and Wikipedia. Right now, there's obviously a strong push in education to limit AI use, and I think it's fruitless because students will always know more than the parents and teachers with technology, and we need to really get teachers up to speed and show them how to use it properly. And that's going to change. Okay, you're going to have to write more assignments in class, as opposed to writing long papers at home, because it's going to be hard to trust the sources.
Absolutely.
So there's a different perspective on that. I took this intro to engineering class at Rockland Community College many years ago, and this professor was a former engineer. He said he was teaching at night because he was bored with his life and he wanted to teach the stuff he knew. All of the tests were all open book. There was a stack of books, like physical paper books, in the classroom. And what he said was this: I don't need to know all of that stuff. I need to know where to go find it. So what the education system needs to get away from is this: you need to memorize plug and play stuff and move to a place of conceptual. I need you to be able to go find the information.
Right. I will point out one difference though. So, and I agree that, and that's what I've always told students and employees, which is, I don't care if you know this off the top of your head, but you need to know where to find it, and that includes critical thinking. The problem with AI is that students and general users are using it to replace critical thinking. They're pulling up information and not using their critical thinking skills.
On it. It becomes a tool, like a crutch, if you will.
But it's an untrustworthy one.
Exactly, and that's where it's a double-edged sword, or not double-edged sword, but there's two issues with it, which is, one, the information is not reliable, and two, people are relying on that without using their own critical thinking skills.
Yeah, there has to be. That's a very important piece. I mean, not just for the AI, but not just for the people that use it, but for the trajectory of it long term. Because if it's responsibly used and the development of it is in the hands of people that know how to shape it, how to guide it, trim tab, if you will, that's going to be so important.
Yeah, and there's an actual, even to me, scarier issue with that. If you've seen the movie Idiocracy, but what's happening now is that not only are people relying on AI to generate content that is inaccurate, but then that content is posted and re-ingested by AI, so that AI begins eating its own tail, ingesting more incorrect information. There are less humans out there contributing actual information. Like Stack Exchange used to be a great place to go for computer answers, because real experts would chime in and have discussions. Well, now people are going to ChatGPT. So not only is ChatGPT perpetuating bad information over time, but people are not contributing to good information on those types of sites.
Right. Yeah, it's eating its own tail. I found that, and I have to admit this, I probably left a good few $100,000 on the table by not getting deep into the whole search engine industry. And here's why. And it was confirmed about a month and a half ago by the so-called guru, John Mueller. All right. And he basically said, so somebody was asking, it's like, hey, I've done all of my search engine optimization to make sure that my website shows up right at the top for my particular industry. Not, like take over the world sort of thing, but let's say, for instance, Mike, a brewery. Okay. And should have been able, by all data sources, should have been able to at least rank nationally on page 1 for these specific keywords. And here we go. Why am I not showing up? And John Mueller basically said, well, it's because there were other people there first. And what happened, and they don't talk about it this much, but I hope this comes out in future years. It's past my pay grade. I don't care. The ones that got there first in the 90s and the 2000s and put their stuff online first with the right brand name, they are just there. And those websites, even though they're full of errors and they don't do their search engine optimization, they just basically let it sit there, are still sitting at the top of the Google page rankings. And here's where I think
resting on their laurels, if you will.
Yes, but also eating their own tails, Dave. Eating their own tails. With the closed loop information and the referrals just go to those companies and not to, for instance, the small businesses that just started up. So, Dave, you get what I'm saying? It's like
I do. I would say that it's not so much the being there first. It's that in itself, but by being there first, they have now been linked, referenced, mentioned so many times.
Yes.
That even though they haven't optimized their site, their links are still out there, their content's still out there.
So here's my question. As a person who is a citizen of Haverstraw and Rockland County, and our show is about Rockland County citizens, how can I and my listeners and all of our friends and citizens use ChatGPT to help our local communities and local businesses better? What keywords would you encourage us to use so we don't get the juggernaut corporations that are international and not helping us?
Yeah, and we're
not talking about Chippy here.
Yeah. Whoa.
We're not talking about Chippy.
Sorry.
Chippy's helping.
Chippy.
Anyway.
All right.
We're not supposed to be
Sorry,
picking
and I have to, Dave, by the way, this is probably a little bit more of a random interview. We're probably hallucinating right now. Not really. But
I only have 5 fingers on each hand.
Here's the problem, and I told
But
Mike about this. Like, I was working until like 11:30 last night, moving Rockland Music Fest equipment back into the home office studio. It's basically like out there. So I'm a little tired today. So because I know you and we talked beforehand, and you asked me, what do you want to talk about? But this kind of randomly went into things. And
I'm fine with that.
For that. So,
well, I mean, the questions that we're asking are still important. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
How do the citizens of Rockland help themselves? Because there are no classes, because there isn't a clear way to find out, like, what should we do to help ourselves?
Right?
Absolutely. Well, the first thing to do is to get a basic understanding, because there are so many limitations and caveats and pitfalls that people aren't aware of, that before you even worry about getting local results, let's worry about getting accurate results. Let's figure out what these tools are actually good at. And there are a number of resources out there. Now, OpenAI does have their academy. I actually think that Anthropic, who makes a competing model called Claude,
yeah,
they have an excellent training series, and it's a series of several courses, and they're much less wordy and technical than I am, and that's a great place for people to start. But it does mean investing a couple hours over a couple of weeks just to figure it out. There's also a lot of great free courses on Coursera, and to take some basic, LLM chatbot 101 to just know about the basics of hallucination and why information may be incorrect. Then you could start using it more intelligently and say, this is how I prompt better. This is how I ask for information in a way that's going to get me the most accurate information, and also a way to pull up, let's say, the most local or appropriate information. And that just comes from, I hate to say it, you need to invest time in training. Never just sit down at the tool and ask the tool itself. The one big problem I have is a lot of people try to learn how to use ChatGPT through ChatGPT.
Oh, big mistake.
And that leads to a lot of problems.
Yeah, absolutely. I looked at the, like, for instance, when we were training some of our models in order to handle the WordPress websites, I made sure that I went externally to get the information and provide the agents with what the constraints, if you will,
Right.
as best
So
as possible. Yeah.
so step one is just to get some basic literacy. On my site, I do point to some of these resources, not to plug, but I have a blog site, and my whole mission is to kind of demystify how AI works. But it's a mix of very technical content and introductory content, and I have to really break it out a bit more into sections. But there's a link section that links to the Anthropic courses, that links to some Coursera courses, and even goes into some, if anybody's ever interested in learning like kind of the architecture and what happens inside, I link to some accessible ways to understand that too.
It's amazing, and I'm looking at your website right now. So the blog I'll bring up, because this is where you specifically focus on AI models and a lot of really just deep exploration of what you've been exploring. So you're giving us kind of like an eye view into what you've been learning, and it's at eitbits.com, AIGHTBITS.com, and Ziegler.us is the website for Ziegler Technical Solutions. Phone number is 845-634-0364. I'm amazed every time you're on the show, Dave. I really am.
Well, thank you. I really want to get this information out there before we go too far in the wrong direction, like Mike was saying. I don't think it's going to be Terminator, but it could be more like Idiocracy if we're not careful.
Either way, that is not the path we want to go.
No.
I want Star Trek. Tom wants Star Trek.
I do, but I got to tell you, and Dave, you could probably tell I'm a little still burnt out from the Rockland Music Fest, and I mean, I love it. Like, we get 10 hours of footage. We created an app last week so that people can watch all the videos online on Roku, streaming TV, YouTube, all that. So that's ready to go. But I kind of want to be like Idiocracy, just a tiny bit.
What?
No. Hold on. Let me explain.
I got a nice pick if you really want to go there.
Listen, if you got to take me out, you got to take me out. All right, but
There's meds for that. Tom.
No. I had my coffee. I'm okay. Everything's good. I'm just saying I'm so tired of just trying to keep up with the industry. Like, I want to be fascinated again. And this is where I think Dave comes in. I am it's not, I don't want to use AI in order to just get work done. That's great. I want to watch from the outside and see how it develops over the course of time.
This is what the complaint of most retirees who don't understand technology have. They want to be fascinated by life that they have, but life has changed so much that it's hard to be fascinated because they don't know what they're looking at.
Dave, what Mike just did is put me out to pasture.
And you're younger than me.
That's the irony of it.
But you know what the funny thing is that it is fascinating. There are wonderful and fascinating aspects of it, and you don't even have to get too technical into it. And we started out, before I started talking, you were talking about AI music, and there are very cool things that we could be fascinated and use our creativity to make things that we like. I have no music talent, I have no art talent, but I can use AI for my own purposes just to explore. I feel like it's almost like Guitar Hero for creative content.
Yeah.
But then there are the concerning parts of intellectual property and creativity, like human creativity, and job loss due to AI generated material.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that does take away some of the fascination, because those realities hit really hard. But there's so much to be fascinated with the technology.
It is. Yeah, it truly is. And hopefully I can speak with you for a few minutes afterwards, because you and I have talked for a while. I think we're ready.
Sure.
Sweet. Well, Dave Ziegler from Ziegler Technical Solutions. And again, website for all of the information on everything that he studies with AI is eitbits.com, AIGHTBITS.com, and Ziegler.us if you want to learn about all of his 30 plus years of experience.
If you're concerned like I am about the Terminators coming, or Idiocracy, as Tom was saying, reach out to Dave, and maybe he can allay some of your concerns.
I would actually be more than happy if anybody wants to reach out to the blog or email. My email address is on there, or LinkedIn. I obviously talk about this stuff way too much and enjoy it way too much. But my goal is to actually start giving some even courses, either at the RCC or the libraries or adult and continuing ed. So I'll be posting that to the blog too as those start coming up.
Definitely. And that's one of the reasons why we got to talk like yesterday, because I got a networking group that's all lined up for that for you.
Well, fantastic. Well, thank you both so much. I really appreciate it.
No
You're
problem.
welcome. You're
Dave
welcome.
Ziegler, thanks for being on AM Rockland News today. And Mike, I have to say, this was an interesting show today, man.
I mean, we went from hip hop to AI. So.
Yeah, we
didn't AI to hip hop.
There's days and moments that you just fascinate me, man. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, we just combine all that.
And that's not about AI. That's about human creativity, bro.
Yeah, exactly. High five.
High fiving.
All right. Well, everybody, I'll just give the weather one more time. Let you know what's
before you say that, I would like to say,
please.
Everyone use ChatGPT wisely. Check your sources. As the expert, our expert is saying, the information is not accurate. Mm-hmm. So it is important to collect that information in. The tool is useful in the fact that it's giving you some options of rabbit holes to look down.
Absolutely.
But you cannot just take that and run. And please don't repost things without checking them.
And with that, we're going to close out our show. And we're just a little bit over the normal time that we do. It's usually an hour, but we got into an hour.
There is nothing normal about us, Tom.
Well, we do have to thank our sponsors, so let's just
read the list
real quick. And here we go. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on Rockland News today. And we want to thank our sponsors, Yabu Fence Company, Yabu, Data Pest Control, Kobe Sushi with their music lounge. They opened up May 31st. They're open Wednesdays and Saturdays for jazz music, and then throughout the week for your sushi. 202 Cannabis, located in Garnerville, New York, the first drive-through cannabis dispensary in Rockland. 202 Cannabis. Susan Bova from Coldwell Banker Realty. By the way, I have to say about Susan Bova, all right? And she handled my mother's transaction for the property and everything.
Personal interest.
Absolutely. But, and right now, like all of the properties that she's been taking care of, they're all sold.
All right.
They're all sold. All right. So, and she has great experience in the industry. Coldwell Banker Realty, Susan Bova. We also have Lauren Molino Muller, Howard Hanna Rand Realty, and Whole Shop Bagels. Thank you for joining us.
Whole Shop Bagels.
I know. We're going to have to do some extra here because I got to say, Whole Shop Bagels is amazing. They're on Route 9W.
Right, they are. They have so many different things on their menu. All of them are delicious. I remember when they bought the place and they became the owners. They were award-winning. I cannot say enough good things about Whole Shop Bagels. Go visit them. Tell the folks that Mike and Tom said hi.
We have to, referral. Like this is the additional thing.
Yeah.
There's a code.
There's a code.
Yeah. If you go in and you say Whole Shot, all right.
Yeah.
You're gonna get like a little discount. But
really?
If you say Rockland's News, you're gonna get a little bit higher of a discount. We've been working on that in the background.
Look at that, folks.
Mm-hmm.
Go visit our folks over there at Whole Shop Bagels. They have not just bagels. They have all the great sandwiches. They have good Spanish food. They have great everything.
And Clevin and Victoria are an amazing couple that have managed Whole Shop Bagels for many years. And they are, they're being affected by the pipeline thing, but they are just chugging along and making great food at that place, Whole Shop
Speaking
Bagels.
of chugging, he makes his own iced tea and lemonade. It's delicious.
Really?
Go try it.
Oh my!
Like I said, I cannot talk enough about Whole Shop Bagels. They're so good.
And we cannot talk enough because we just went right over like the role of the music
and
everything. It's like,
all right, who was our next sponsor?
Yeah, our next sponsor is the Workforce Development Board of Rockland County. I had Rich Gore on the show yesterday, and he is the Business Development Director for Rockland Works. And he was talking about the program. You could go to rocklandworks.org. It's basically an entire job facility. You could, get trained for a new job, new career,
awesome.
Or you can look on their website at rocklandworks.org for all the available jobs from employers all around Rockland County.
So if you're unhappy where you are or you're looking, go to Rockland Works and see what they can do for you.
Absolutely. And Clean Space Maintenance Management Company. I also want to thank some of our sponsors for Rockland Music Fest. St. Thomas Aquinas College, Ivy Rehab Physical Therapy, Outsource My IT, my friend John Sandak. And John, you and I talked this week. I think we got to bring you in, brother. We got to bring you in. We need your help. We need your help.
Discuss some more AI.
Yeah, well, we got the resources for it. We definitely do. So, John, let's talk. I think it's time. Fiesta Acapulco, they've been doing all of the open mic nights. I played there on Saturday this past. Yep.
So, folks, if you would like to have a brief moment on stage, get your 15 minutes of fame, head on over there on it's Thursdays, right?
Exactly.
And pick a song.
Yep. FZ Perfection. They are a big sponsor of Rockland Music Fest. We appreciate them very much. Banchetto Restaurant. Thank you once again, Eddie. North Rockland Chiropractic, which is in a new location. Actually, let me bring that up because
Is
that's
it
important.
because of the 9W slowdown?
No. They were planning that they were going to move to a different area for quite some time. Let me just bring it up. NorthRocklandChiro.com.
And have you gone to visit them since Rockland Music
No,
Fest?
I really need to. And even my wife, basically, she said, she's like, you got to go because you're just like, you know, I feel it in my bones. I really do. It's 6 Highview Avenue, Stony Point, New York. Definitely check it out. And quite frankly, Dr. Anna Marie is a wizard.
Well, go get the spells cast on you, Tom, because you need to realign your soul, man.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it. And right back to you, brother.
So who's next?
And we have finally the Stony Point Pancake Factory. They were sponsors of the Rockland Music Fest.
And again, that's another restaurant that more than just their name. So much more than just pancakes.
Here's an interesting thing. I found that over the years, we built their first website, Stony Point Pancake Factory.
Okay.
We built their first website. And, you know, and then, you know, kind of like we parted company, but we always stayed friends. And that's the important thing. Like, you know, we did the Small Business Tuesday meetings over there every Tuesday with the North Rockland Chamber of Commerce. It's always a happy vibe over at the Stony Point Pancake Factory. It really is.
Cool.
So, Mike, and I finally want to thank you, brother.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm a participant. I'm not a sponsor.
I mentioned this last week, but I have to tell you, and, you know, listen, the next 3 months is just going to start to settle down and I can go into, you know, just running the companies again. And
we're going to build our studio.
But the day before Rockland Music Fest, I can't even begin to tell you how much you helped me out.
Well, I like to be a grounding force for you, Tommy.
Thank you. That's it's desperately needed sometimes because there's just a lot of stuff, and I ain't no Elon Musk, but it's a lot to.
Who is Elon really? Elon?
Yeah, maybe he's Max Headroom.
I love that show.
It was
going
awesome,
back to AI.
Right? Yeah, that would be a good chatbot, Max Headroom.
I mean, if it was actually based on Matt Frewer, the actor.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody got their royalties for Max Headroom.
A wicked wall.
Weird old 80s hip hop folk.
But no, seriously.
He went 80s on us.
I have to say, like, seriously, you helped me unbelievably just getting all things organized, going from place to place, going to the bank, going to like the stadium to get all the materials.
Reminding you that if you're going to go to the bank in your robe, you have to wear a hat.
Okay, and that's where I want to end the show. I want to thank Mike Kluger for his help. Mike, you are a gem. And
Tom, thank you for having me on the show week after week. Let's keep doing great stuff, informing Rockland County, helping our citizens out. And again, folks, if you have any issues in the county, let us know, and maybe we can help you. We know
Absolutely.
a lot of folks.
And check out our other interviews, which we are launching on Friday. We have our latest with County Executive Ed Day. We talked about the 9W pipeline crisis, the transmission line crisis, as well as an interview with Al Samuels from the Rockland Business Association. So we had a really good sit-down interview last week. It's ready to go. Also, check out the interviews with big brothers and big sisters of Rockland County, who we had on the show several weeks ago.
Right. That was splendid.
Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff. And for all the news that matters to you most, check out rocklandsnews.com. You also sign up for the weekly newsletter. And from Mike and Tom, thanks for being with us today.
Drop us a line.
Peace out.